Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Hallyujuku, your portal to the world of East Asian pop culture. Slightly broken and mostly misguided portal, but your portal nonetheless.
Jesus Christ.
Kaz,
I was dancing to the music and my headphones got fucking...
The man breaking things over to my left.
I can't break any more things. I cannot afford to break anything else.
Is Kaz, Brandon Cooper, aka Key Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
I am doing well because nothing's broken.
Yes.
So...
Yes, we're here to talk about...
No, I should be asking how you were doing because you just came back from another con.
Yes, I had a staycation.
Well, not just came back.
I had a staycation this weekend. Over to the beach. I took my talents down to South Beach. Actually to South Beach and not to just downtown Miami and think of going to South Beach. It's for Florida SuperCon. I went, I found no K-pop, and then I left. So I'd been talking about how I was going to go check out the K-pop booth. And I went through the entire vendor floor. I did several laps, found no K-pop. I heard one speaker on one booth playing "Catch Me If You Can," the Tsuneshide song. One dude cosplaying as some kind of military dude playing "Bang Bang Bang" walking by, and that's it. That's it for K-pop, the entire Florida SuperCon, which is sad because the last time I went to Florida SuperCon, there definitely was a K-pop booth. I was there. I visited it, and
it wasn't a fever dream. I swear.
I saw the pictures. I have the Instagram post that I mentioned to you in so many moons ago. But it wasn't there. It wasn't there. So sad. But I did get to hang out with Sean Russell of Anime 3000. We repped A through K and did a cool little panel. And that was fun. I didn't really do any recording of stuff like I'd planned on doing, but there really wasn't much to cover. Okay. But there is Nerdtacular, so there might be more content from there. Probably not K-pop, but more content nonetheless. But there will be stuff in Vegas finding more Korean food. That being said, we always open the episode with talking about what's new, and there's a big thing that's new that I know it would start with you, because guess what, Kaz? It's the first of the month. Get your BigBang in this month.
Oh, is it that time again?
Yes.
It? Yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's new BigBang. It's their song Sober, coming from the album that will be known as Made. So, like we said, we've been going through this perilous journey of having to wait.
They're here to give you the D this time. They're here to give you the D.
Yeah. So we've been having to go through this perilous journey of waiting for the first of the month to get a new BigBang song as we get closer and closer to this release. And this song is called Sober, which has the video more of them looking like they're on drugs than the other ones have been.
It's like they don't look sober at all. Yeah, they running around kind of crazy. There's a lot of mysterious smoke. Wonder if G-Dragon made another perilous journey to Japan and found more funny smelling cigarettes.
Yeah. But I will say, okay, so as we're going through these and the songs that we're getting, I enjoyed this one. I didn't super duper enjoyed it. I think right now, and I know you're gonna not agree with me. I kind of like Bang Bang, and maybe Bay Bay. I fucking hate those titles. But Bang 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 and Bay Bay right now, I think are my front runners for the songs that I like the most. Yeah. But I am also kind of just Big Bang biased, so I have enjoyed everything we've gotten so far.
Yeah, this one's a good song. It's a good song. I enjoyed it. It has a good build to it. It has a good feel to it. It's a nice little dance track. And the video is fun. I will say the thing about Bang Bang Bang, and I've kind of, when I hear it, I can get the hook again the more I hear it. But even with kind of coming around on the hook, I can't help but feel that the hook is still creates a less than, no matter what, and a different hook could have done a lot better. But that being said, not to get back on that part, this song is really cool, and like the video is crazy, and it works well. I would put it above Bang Bang Bang, but I think the first two tracks are still my favorite. Bebe and Loser are still my favorites. This one's high up there, and We Like to Party is high up there. Like I think We Like to Party was probably my 3.
Oh, We Like to Party too.
Yes.
That's the name of the song.
Yeah, We Like to Party too. But yes, Sober. More Big Bang. The kind of the steady stream of the Big Bang releases, which is interesting. This time G Dragon didn't ruin anything. But yeah, Big Bang. What else has caught your attention this week?
Okay, so what else is catching my attention this week was it caught your attention and you sent it to me, and I was like, there's no way I'm not including this. But it was a song by our boy Verbal Gent, who we just were talking about in our Hallyujuku talk, so you could watch that here over at the YouTube channel. Yeah. But a song from Verbal Gent featuring Bum Key. What?
Sanchez,
okay.
Verbal Gent, Sanchez, and Bumpy.
Sanchez, Verbal Gent. I was like, why is this out of order like this? It's Verbal Gent, Sanchez doing it featuring Bumpy, but whatever. You know what? It's like of all those things you mentioned, right, or all those things I just mentioned, Verbal Gent, Bumpy, Sanchez. Like, how could you not have a good song, right? Like, this is such a fun song. Like, and I'm kind of loving this. Like, Verbal Gent has always kind of had this disconnect, of like just being kind of really linguistic, but like low on the personality kind of thing. Yes. But he's really been embracing it a lot more lately in this style of just kind of being this weird dude,
Yeah. Especially with his appearance on Running Man.
Also that as well.
Yeah, this is kind of ridiculous. This is definitely an interesting video. It's definitely some eye-catching visuals. Of a lovely lady. I think I remember it was identified. Damn it, I'm trying to remember who it was. But yeah, the song is really cool. And it does some cool references, and it kind of plays around with like referencing your boy. I forget. Dali Van Picasso, which is from Benzino. Yeah, Benzino. Referencing the Benzino track, which of course was referenced on Born Hater as well. Referencing Show Me the Money, which is on, and kind of playing around, and then just kind of crafting this song, which is fun and creative, and I love this straight up like just sex song, which is nice. Yeah. Like she just wants to D. It's just a song about a girl who wants to D, and that's all she wants. She's not really into like your music or your creative efforts. She's just like, you know what, you work it. That's all. That's why I like you. And it's kind of it's an interesting, also different boast. And an odd boasting song from the personality that is Verbal Gent, which is interesting in all regards. But yeah, Verbal Gent. Last but not least, what else do you have for us this week?
Let me see. What was my last song? I got to pull the doc back up. I forgot. So awesome song from Asian Kung Fu Generation, a band that has been around in the Japanese rock music scene for so long. I can very proudly say they have done the theme to your favorite anime.
Yes.
Like no matter what it is, I don't care if it was by somebody else. I'm still saying it was by Asian Kung Fu Generation.
Yes.
No, I love Asian Kung Fu Generation. They're one of those groups that has made so much music you could literally get burnt out on them and then find another song by them and fall in love with them again.
Yeah,
like that's their musical catalog. But they recently had uploaded a bunch of material, new and old, to their YouTube channel, their video channel. And this was one of the songs that they uploaded, and I love this song. It's just a really good song from Asian Kung Fu Generation. And I want to talk more about I want to talk about more just Asian Kung Fu Generation as a whole, because we tend to, on this show specifically, we tend to sometimes not do as much Japanese music as we're supposed to.
Yeah.
And I will say that's a lot more my fault than anything else. But we tend to not do that. And I will say when I do remember to do it, it is for me, some amazing shit that takes me back to my youth. And Asian Kung Fu Generation is one of those things. I still listen to them today. And I remember listening to them when I was a kid. And like, they were one of the first groups where I heard a theme song in an anime. And I was like, I want to know who makes that song.
Yeah.
You know, whereas most people kind of get into the song of an anime because they're in the anime and it's just kind of a thing that they do, you know, and it's all in relation to anime. But this was the first time. This was one of the groups. There are others, but this was one of the first groups that I heard at the beginning of an anime. And I was like, I want to know more about that than I do this anime right now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And that's one of those groups for me.
Yeah, Asian Kung Fu Generation are fantastic, and we talked about them on the show before too. When we were first starting to kind of like just talk about groups in general and songs in general, before we started kind of getting into what's this week and more in like what's caught our attention, we definitely talked about Asian Kung Fu Generation. You brought them up, and yeah, they're a fantastic group that puts out just quality music, quality tunes, and I'm glad I got to be reminded of them because I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can find them on Spotify and just populate all my playlists out with them and just listen to them. Get myself hyped up in the morning with them and Baby Metal and Crayon Pop.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hype playlist for you. Crayon Pop, Asian Kung Fu Generation, and Baby Metal. Try not to be hyped with that combo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dare you.
Like, I will say that, dude. Like, I have my playlist that I listen to when I'm playing video games, and I normally use Pandora and just use the radio stations, you know. And one of those things is I'll be playing a game and I'll totally stop and just listen when fucking Asian Kung Fu Generation pops up. And I'm just like, hold on, have I thumbed this up already? Let me make sure I thumb this. I died. I don't give a fuck. Like, I need to thumb this up.
We're like, time moves quickly. I don't fucking care. I'm thumb this up. Like, you know, you don't care how quickly that timer fuse is going across the board. You gotta, but yeah, and it's definitely understandable. Asian Kung Fu Generation is freaking fantastic. But yeah, it's my turn. Talk about what's new with me this week. We're kind of there's not a lot of music, even though we kind of got a few songs. There's not a lot of music. We're kind of on a holding pattern. We're for comebacks coming on this month, and there's gonna be some fantastic ones. We're sitting here waiting for a group that should be 9 members, but now it's performing 8 members. Gonna check out their comeback. But Girls' Generation is next week. We're gonna talk about 9 Muses this week. 9 Muses came out with their song "Hurt Locker," aka Dacia. And it kind of surprised me as being a pretty solid jam. I didn't have a lot of expectations coming into like this. I was like, all right, I might check it out. Now I always kind of saw it there. I've been seeing it there it basically was published today. I had been seeing it throughout the day, and it was like, okay, I'll check it out at some point. And then I saw like a couple of reviews saying like, no, this is solid. This is actually really good. And I checked it out, and it's really good. Like the main thing that it builds well. It builds up in the choruses and lands well in builds well in the verses to something in the choruses that really does hook you in, and the beat is really cool, and it's structured really well, and the vocals are interesting, and there's little touches in the vocals that don't sound like typical girl group K-pop vocals. A lot of them are standard, but there are some really nice touches.
The video itself was really standard, but I will say the song kind of, I was like, holy shit, this song is really amazing. Like, this video is kind of, like, everybody's really doing this oversaturated hyper color thing lately that I'm not super enjoying, but everything else I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Now, you got to give them props for getting on top of those shipping containers and doing their routine on top of those things, because
shipping containers are pretty sturdy.
Yeah, they are sturdy, but there had to be a process getting up there, getting up to the top. Like, had to involve like, I don't know, like an elevator, and it's like right up to the top. So you got to give them props for that. But yeah, the visuals are really cool. The song is cool. Yeah, it does have that hyper color, which some people might not be enjoying. But it would make for a great video to demo Samsung TVs. So, something nice and oversaturated with a lot of bright colors. Don't want to actually show the contrast on them shits. That being said, yeah, it's just it's just a pretty solid song. I'm looking forward. It's so far it has been the kind of fair consensus that it's kind of winning the summer girl group battle, which is kind of crazy considering what's come out already, group wise, and what's coming out. That this is a pretty agreed upon leader of the pack so far. But yeah, it's really interesting. Go check it out. Another song that actually surprised me is a group by the name of Playback that I never heard of. I don't even know whose company they're in, with a song called Playback. Again, another thing where I had absolutely no expectations. I was just like, okay, that's the thing. It's there. I might check it out. And it actually kind of hooked me. There's a lot that there's so much, and I sent it to you, and I said that I don't know how to feel about this, mainly because there's a lot of different parts of this that are kind of K-pop girl group 101 stuff, and a lot of points that are not very original, but it's actually kind of hooky and actually kind of a fun track. And I ended up enjoying it overall. Well, what did you think of the song?
It's kind of standard. Like it is a very, it's kind of a hardcore play on their name. Like it is so hardcore. Like just like I'm not even sure if there were any other words but playback in this song.
Playback. Yeah. But that was a fun
But other
part.
than that, it style wise, not bad. But content wise, I feel like there could have been a bit more there.
Yeah.
Like you could have put a few more words in there.
Yes. But I think for a debut track, it actually kind of surprised me how much of it I liked, despite it kind of hitting a lot of K-pop 101 things. But there's quite a few points that were fairly enjoyable. But yeah, that was an interesting track. And moving on to another track, again, I'm kind of pulling at straws a little bit with these tracks, and they're not necessarily, I wasn't necessarily blown away with a lot of music. We're kind of in a holding pattern, but NS Yoon-G is a pretty talented singer. It's kind of a cool gal. It's fun on different songs.
Featured song on 1K this week.
Yeah, the featured song. Came out with her new song called Honey Summer or Kuru Sama. And if you kind of understand that Kuru means honey, it also is a nice little play on words because it's cool summer. And she basically released a Sistar summer jam. Except she's a lot more lonely because apparently her agency couldn't afford to pay for extras.
Yeah,
so it's all NSUG.
They couldn't afford friends,
which is exactly what they pointed out on Asian Junkie. And the song it's an okay song. It's basically, like I said, a Sistar summer jam except sung by one person with no Bora rap verse. And that's okay. But Yoon-G is ridiculously attractive, and she's wearing bikinis, so enjoy. Enjoy.
So it's a visual video. Wait, what? I think inherently by saying it's a video makes it a visual video.
Yes, we'll leave it at that. Again, we kind of got through the music quick, but we are in a holding pattern. We're looking forward to the next couple episodes because there's going to be some fairly big releases that we'll have hot takes on. I'm not sure if they're going to be good or bad, but we'll have hot takes on them. But that's it for what's new this week. We got through it fairly quickly. We're going to transition over to our headlines now. So, join us over there, won't you? Welcome back to our headlines. We're here to talk about topical topics and things going on in the world of East Asian pop culture. And we were talking about hot takes. We got our first headline. Let's give hot takes on Sinishide's Party / Lionheart / You Think triple music video teaser.
I'll let you mostly take this. What is so what's up?
So as mentioned just a little while ago, they mentioned as we've kind of been keeping track, Sineshide is going to come back and they're promoting 3 tracks. So, BigBang is doing the 2-track a month. Sineshide then decided to one-up them to do 3 tracks at a time. But as far as I know, this is the only tracks they're going to put out. The tracks being Party, Lionheart, and You Think. And they put out a little teaser, combo teaser of all 3 tracks. And before I kind of give my takes, I kind of have a couple of takes on this. What is your impression of these tracks this early on?
I don't know. It seemed a little too as soon as I start to kind of have a feel for one track, it switched to another one of these 3 tracks that are going to be released. So it's a pretty short, promo.
Yeah.
But they sound like Girls' Generation songs, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Other than that, I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it. There's with especially, and it talks about it here in the Asian Junkie articles, with all 3 of these tracks, but actually mainly Lionheart and You Think, but even with the Party, it's like there's songs that could go either really well or really bad. Especially You Think, which could be another You Got a Boy revisit. I mean, I Got a Boy, not You Got a Boy, or They Got a Boy specifically. They're the ones that sing that I Got a Boy is because they got a boy. Which I've given my thoughts on before. But there's songs that could go either way, and I'm hopeful as kind of the Emotionally waning someone that I am. I'm hopeful for these tracks, especially kind of coming off of the, especially since it seems like they're trying a little bit more to kind of recover from the whole Jessica debacle. The idea that they could be giving a damn again is hopeful. Also, Sunny looks adorable, especially in that the red hair, and she got the ladies featuring, which is nice. And I love Sunny, especially with colored hair. I'm hopeful.
I mean, because this is your group in that sense. Like you next to Crayon Pop, it's Sunny Shide for you. Like
they're the ones that kind of started my. Your introduction of G-Dragon and Big Bang 21 initially started the journey, but as far as getting me into like full on standing a group, if you want to put it that way, especially kind of as personalities, and kind of getting into being a fan of the girls themselves, their personalities, their styles, and kind of being all giddy and being all silly fanboy. They're the group that started me out. I've kind of been through a up and down journey with them, but they're kind of my group still. Even with the fact that I know that they're mostly phoning it in nowadays, I still enjoy. I'm hoping for good things. And I do enjoy in this article the comparison of Hyoyeon's blonde eyebrows to Charlie Villanueva, which is just fun. And why I love Asian Junkie. But Shinyoshide fighting.
I mean, there's not really much for me to say, because it's just like, it's the thing where it's like, I like Sunny Shide. I'm not the biggest fan of Sunny Shide, so it's better to let you, as the fan of this group, say how you feel about this teaser of 3 songs coming out.
Yes. So we'll talk about it when they come out. I'll talk about them when they come out. For sure. That being said, moving on to the next headline. This is an interesting kind of set of headlines. Talk about one thing. So the news came out, and it was one of those headlines, one of those that come out of the news sites. Police investigating top Korean idols for cocaine use. Supposedly, there's some Korean idols that are in love with the cocoa. The Seoul District Prosecutor Office is currently investigating several stars under suspicion of using cocaine, including at least one major idol. If somebody's listening to this and doesn't know that this is a K-pop show and was wondering, musicians doing cocaine? What's surprising about that? It's a lot different in Korea. It's a lot different. I know
they're not doing it for their art, man.
On June 22nd, drug bust involving cocaine occurred at Incheon International Airport. At the airport, trying to bring cocoa into the country. Mr. A, and this is one of the articles. Mr. A, was arrested on the spot, and a drug test came back positive. Mr. A is described as being a 32-year-old concert staff member for a large entertainment company. This is the part where they give a Mr. A extensively describe the person so that you know exactly who they are, but they don't actually name anybody so that they can't be called for libel. It's called the passive-aggressive scandal. Yeah,
it's called. I would be mad if I, could be mad about something, but I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be mad about yet. But as soon as I find out, I'm gonna be fucking mad.
It's like where you know that they're talking about you. They know they're talking about you. Everybody knows that they're talking about you, but they don't actually talk about you. They don't actually mention your name, so it's like the passive aggressive. But according to his testimony, Mr. A and a top idol within the same company have been using cocaine together along with other people within the entertainment industry. The currently unnamed idol is being investigated by police for allegedly using drugs. Other celebrities and members of the entertainment industry are also being investigated, blah, 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 blah. With these kind of things, you never find out any facts, and there's a lot of like, just Mr. A and Idol B and Person C, and it's a blind item. But the one saving grace, Kaz, when it comes to finding things out that are not supposed to be said and are not supposed to be put out into public, is people who don't shut their mouth on Twitter.
It's one of those things where like you can have all these things and they'll be super mysterious about it, right? But you have that one person who's like, it's not me, but I'm just saying, and you're like, oh, okay, so it was you. Yeah. All right, cool.
Luckily it wasn't the person, but luckily we have Ben Baller. For those that don't know, Ben Baller is a jeweler to the stars. A lot of YG artists and a lot of people that like hip-hop and K-pop. Yeah. He's based out of Koreatown. He provides a lot of the YOLO swag jewelry that you see a lot of these K-pop stars wear and other stars. He's also friends with... He's one of those guys that's... Though he's not officially an employee of any pop company, he's in friends with so many... with enough celebrities that...
Hold on. Friends with a lot of celebrities, which just basically means because he sells shit to them on such a regular basis, they kind of gave him a key card to the building. But it's really like, oh, okay, cool, you're here to sell me my shit. Oh yeah, man, that looks really great. That's exactly what I asked for. Here's your money. All right, cool. You want to sit and listen to the new song for a bit? That's cool. Great. All right, time for you to leave.
So he ends up kind of feeling like,
do you want to come to my sister's fucking birthday party, friend? Like, not something you ask a real friend to do. Hey, I'm moving next. Like I would ask Petey, like if we lived in the same city, I'd be like, hey Petey, I'm moving into a new place. You want to come help me move? And Petey would be like, fuck. But he would say yes because he's a friend. Whereas like we could have a mutual friend that's like, hey, you want to come over and watch the game and then leave after the game?
Yes. He's kind of that person in the entourage. But he's also he also has a big mouth and combination big mouth, small brain, and no inhibitions. So, Ben Baller tweets seem to connect Harry Kim and YG Entertainment to recent cocaine scandal. Ben Baller and his big mouth may have just outed Harry Kim as the person that was arrested in the recent cocaine scandal that's been making news. And given Kim's affiliation, and Ballers for that matter, in the K-pop industry with YG Entertainment, Baller seems to be alluding to YG Entertainment being the major label about to be taken down in the now deleted tweet. Specifically in one that he says, please do not affiliate me with Harry Kim at all whatsoever. I cut ties with him over a year ago. He's about to take down a major label. Shaking my head. Don't even bother. Yeah. If you're going to tweet that, don't even bother deleting that tweet. It's out there. You put it on the internet. It's there forever. And he went off another, either that or is a hell of a coincidence. He went off another Twitter tirade. He's like, only bad thing, and you have to read this. This is a screenshot of a timeline, so you have to read it from the bottom up. Only bad thing people can say about me is that I'm loud and that I'm an asshole. That's a fairly sizable amount of bad things to say. That's a good amount. It's not like that's all they can say about me. That's a good amount of things to say about someone. That you can build a bad things portfolio on that. He's loud and he's an asshole. Never stole or jerked anyone in a business deal. And he kind of goes on the thing. It's like he says, "Ugly as the shit. I still fucked your mom and the count." I'm gonna go with count. Mouth and asshole. It's like, okay. So we're dealing with that kind of a person. Because I don't keep up with acquaintances of celebrities. Like we said, acquaintances of acquaintances. I didn't know a whole lot about Kim, but after browsing just the internet, it seemed pretty cool. He kind of talks about that. And Ben Baller, of course, brings up another one. Too many Henry Hills out there, shaking my head. Of course, got to reference Goodfellas and Scarface because you're a big baller. you Tony Montana. Because
can somebody slap him? Is there a Kickstarter or a Patreon for that? I'll pay for that.
I'd pay for that. Reason for YG stands to not worry. Well, it's Ben Baller. And he didn't mention this incident specifically. And then but here's the thing: he didn't stop. Korea Boo kind of put an article based on what he said, where it was obviously what he was talking about. Put 2 and 2 together and put an article about it, and he kind of went off on them. So he says, "I didn't imply shit about YG Entertainment. All I'm saying is Harry Kim is a rat, and all his snitching about idols doing drugs are pure lies." Regardless of, apparently. So here's the article. Ben Baller says YG not involved in cocaine scandal, but Harry Kim is snitching on everybody. Which seems like it's what's happening. Apparently, according to him, what this whole thing is that Harry Kim is like going like, well, he's got arrested. It's like, well, yo, this guy. What do I got to do to get my sentence reduced? This guy. Investigating against these people.
Like, if I said somebody else did something, would that make me less of a person who did something? And they're like, maybe.
And they started just writing down names.
We've all seen fucking Law and Order. We know how it goes. They get him to snitch, and then he's like, all right, I could go, right? And they're like, we ain't never said we was going to set you free. And he's like, what? And then you're like, damn, you dumb.
Yes.
That's how it goes.
Yes. It's like no scandal. And it just kind of kept going. And it's kind of ridiculous and hilarious. And kind of dumb. Because Ben Baller has that. Like it said, William Blake puts it perfectly. Bless Ben Baller's almost perfect combination of tiny brain, big mouth, low impulse control, and quick typing fingers. Because we get them Twitter tirades. What do you think?
So there is an investigation going on. We can say that, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of speculation, and then there's just a lot of people on trying to put themselves on opposite ends with big fucking mouths.
Yes, and there's no evidence or facts, or we don't even know if it's Harry Kim that they arrested. For sure. I mean, we could intimate, but we don't know. And when we don't have facts, all we got is wild speculation. So, Kaz, which idol is in love with the Coco?
All right. Well, we're gonna do this. Bumkey already got arrested once, right?
he got off. He was falsely accused. I'm with you, Bumkey.
Let's just falsely accuse him again. I'm gonna, you know what? Fucking G Dragon.
Not chasing Dragon. That's a different drug.
Yeah. Top.
Sonny.
I'm gonna go with Sonny.
He's too chipper.
Your boy Black Nut. I'm just just put it out there. All of 2 p.m. Just start throwing names out there, and for the ladies, just every top girl group.
Yes, they're all doing the. That's cocaine. Good, right? Yep, that's wildly speculative. All right. We're just thinking out loud. We can't be held accountable at all. Even if our wild speculations cause people to disband and commit suicide. We're not accountable at all. We're just wildly speculating.
I don't know.
We didn't
I'm
say
just
anything.
a jeweler, and life is a nightmare. Wait, I don't think that's how that goes.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Cocaine. Cocaine is a hell of a drug, and that's all it needs to be said. That being said, to more happy things, because you know what happened this weekend? Not just Florida SuperCon. In Korea, it was Pride weekend. Korea Pride happened this Sunday. Korea Pride or Korean Queer Culture Festival.
God damn. Leave it to Asians to fucking name something so fucking like just leave it. Just call it Pride. Everybody else calls it Pride. Why do you have to add 12 extra syllables and fucking 13 words?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I think it was like I'm going to say it was probably these anti-protesters that did fuck that up. I'm pretty sure it was just Korean pride. These people. But that being said, this anti-LGBT protest dance at Korean Pride is one of the gayest things you've ever seen. So, finally, after a lot of struggles, Seoul's annual Pride Parade went ahead today, and by all accounts, it sounds like it was even bigger and better than last year. A lot of parade participants have been praising the police for their approach. Like, people have been saying that the police have been doing a really good job of kind of helping everything go smoothly. And it sounds like there was considerably less disruption than last year. There was still a significant counter-protest from largely Christian anti-LGBT organizations, with which Jay Lester Feeder covered on BuzzFeed. We're going to talk about the BuzzFeed in a second to kind of go see what happened, because I want to talk about Korean Pride, because yay! So Pride Week is always an awesome thing to exist. The protests were mostly what we've come to expect right now, a mixture of nationalistic pageantry and pious signs and chants, lots of references to Jesus and hell. But amid all this, the one part of this article which really stood out was this anti-LGBT group expressing their hatred to the entirely not gay medium of disco dance. And it's this routine that you see here.
Disco wasn't gay.
Yes, this routine here, set to the song "Sunny," by what did I say? Casey and the Sunshine Band. I don't know. I don't remember who did that song.
It's not information we need. It doesn't add to the story.
The lack of self-awareness and it's disco music and elaborate choreographed dance to protest against gay people. I'm like sitting here like
I feel like at this point you're describing a play to me.
Yes. It's like
you're like, and then there's this part where the anti-gay establishment does this really well choreographed dance, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm in a coffee shop and somebody is describing a play to me.
Yes.
You're not describing real life to me.
Yes, it's like this is a great moment in the musical with the villainous anti-gay movement's fantastic dance number. Mostly, I think they said that they were referencing the movie Sunny. I don't know why. They just kind of lifted it from there. I don't know what that has to do with disliking gay people. Other than the fact that they were just trying to doing things for the sake of making a lot of noise to disrupt things. But. And like I said, I was going to go to the BuzzFeed article. This is what happened when Christian... Going into more, this is what happened when Christian groups tried to shut down Korea Pride. And kind of going into the article. Tens of thousands of people marched through the South Korean capital in an LGBT Pride festival on Sunday, despite attempts by Christian groups to shut it down. The atmosphere was defiantly jubilant at the parade, the culmination of the 3-week-long Korean Queer Culture Festival. Okay, so they did call it that. But no, it was Pride weekend as part of a bigger festival. And there was a 3-week-long festival. So you know what? That's okay. It was a bigger festival, and then part of it was Pride Day. Which you know what? I'm gonna say that works. I'll allow it. And of course, the protests. There were a lot of ajushis and ajumas with visors over their faces, over their heads, with messages. There was sermons with words like, "Our prayers will open the sky and the homosexuals will fall. We will be blessed with victory." These are words of Lee Young-hoon, rocking a fantastic Korean old guy part.
Why is this the thing that we do, right? Whenever anybody, straight, gay, no matter what, right, makes fun of people who are anti-gay, they point out how gay those people are.
Yes. I'm not gonna point out how gay. He is ultra Korean. I'm gonna say he's got that part. He's got that like quintessential like uptight straight up uptight up his own butt Korean part. It's got that perfect part. It's perfectly smooth.
He's the bad guy in a drama.
Yeah, it's like it's
or the dad who doesn't understand at first and then understands later.
Yeah. Or both. They handed out visors that said oppose homosexual provocation. Many protesters held this sign as an example of the homosexual provocation they opposed. So
dudes twerking, they're just not against. They're not against. Or so from I'm not reading the sign, right? I'm just going from the pictures that are on the sign. They're basically don't walk out in the street half naked unless you're not fit. You know, like you work out, and dudes don't twerk.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's understandable. There's a poster addressed. Okay, a participant in last year's Pride Parade wearing a jockstrap mooned the protesters. Now he's featured on the poster addressed to the Seoul mayor that reads, "Mayor Park Won-soon, please protect our young children. Parents oppose the queer fest at Seoul Plaza." Of course, there's the aforementioned dance. There was a guy dressed as a Native American, because that's not problematic at all. Which is one of the village people, for goodness sakes. The Native American. Come on. Jesus, heaven, no faith, hell. A nice little analogy. There were drums, which, you know what? There were drummers, they were enthusiastic, which, you know, you can't... usually, I say, drummers are fun. But they did shout Jesus repeatedly as they drummed, which... Not the most creative lyrics to a song. Just going, Jesus! Jesus! Apparently they also performed ballet. Wore masked with a black X. And all that. In the end, nothing could deter the fantastic people celebrating at the queer festival, at Pride.
Yeah.
Went off without a hitch. Good 30,000 people having the time of their lives with great signs like, if God hates gays, why are we so cute? And I think, you know what, that's the ultimate argument right there. You know, this is the way to understand it. We had foreign emissaries. We had fantastic turnout.
I'm sorry. I just love the fucking sign though. Like, if God hates gays, why are we so cute?
Yeah.
It kills me. All right, keep going.
In the end, it was the Pride marchers that felt triumphant. And there's a fantastic picture. Dude with a fantastic dress, huge flag, great wig, fantastic makeup, with a nice, sturdy middle finger.
I'm so killed right now.
So
you're gonna have to carry on without me. I fucking died. Just bury me here.
While we exhume Kaz, let's talk about. We've talked about how we've mentioned before how Korean idols work for pennies and to the bone. But apparently regular people are getting pennies for their work. Korean employer pays worker in pennies after she asks for late wages. All right, to understand, when we talk about pennies, and of course we're talking about Korean won, we're talking about 100 won, 10 won coins, which is roughly...
God damn it, I don't have them right here.
10 won coins, which is roughly around 10 cents. Around a cent. A penny, in other words. So
fuck, I don't know where my Korean won are.
Hanguk money. Hanguk money. But yes, 19-year-old Miss Park, who is a part-time worker in Ulsan, had quite the experience after she asked for her late wedges. God damn it. She asked for her late wages of the 320,000 Korean won or 280 bucks owed. Her employer paid 100 grand Korean won or 90 bucks. So
Yeah.
out of the 280, she got 90 in pennies. Well, I don't know if this says that she got all of it and just got the $100,000 in pennies, or if that's all she got and it was all in pennies. But either way, she got about 100,000 Korean won in 10 won coins. So if you can do the math, that's 10,000 little coins, a pile of 10,000 pennies. According to the Ulsan Ministry of Employment and Labor, Ms. Park worked for the employer for 2 months starting in February, but did not receive her wages. 280 bucks in 2 months. She asked her employer to pay her several times, but after being denied, she put in an appeal to the Ulsan Ministry of Employment and Labor. And of course, when in a classic reaction to someone telling mom, they acted incredibly immature and just threw about 10,000 pennies at her.
Yeah.
This is kind of hilarious, if not a bit sad. Have you ever had this kind of a dick move happen to you by an employer?
I did have all right, so not this level of a dick move, but I did have a moment where I was working for somebody and some of the funding for our job got misappropriated and went to somewhere else and not to us. Yeah. So we ended up not being able to get paid for I think it was 2 months.
Damn.
Yeah. And then they forgot. And then we were like, we haven't been paid. And they were like, no, we started paying you again. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but the time period where we didn't get paid. So they were like, oh. And then another 2 weeks go by. And then they cut us a check for 2 Gs.
Nice. It's like, but this, what would be your reaction? And who would get punched?
Everyone and mad.
Yes.
So yeah, I answered those out of. So I would be legitimately mad if it was to this point where I'm like, hey, how you doing? I work here. I have not been paid. And I would like to be paid for. Because when you let's say me and you, well, you specifically, me not right now, but we've both worked in the service industry, and the service industry is very much specifically, and every job is, I'm going to do said number of tasks for said amount of dollars, Yeah. And every so often you will walk into a service industry job where you'll have a manager or a boss or somebody who's just a little bit higher than thou in their mindset of said task for a said amount of money. And sometimes they ask things of you and you go no, and they're like, well, we pay you. And we're like, yeah, but you don't pay me enough to do and then that thing that you just asked me to do. You pay me to do the things that I have done today and the things I will do tomorrow. But this other thing you are now asking me falls outside of my pay range, and you have people who are like, I can't believe you were going to act like this. And I'm like, no, I'm very clearly acting within the range of what you pay me. And you have those moments, but to have a moment very specifically where you have that, and then they're like, well, fine, here's a bunch of pennies. I'd be like, are you fucking, why? We're adults. Stop it. Legitimately stop. You took you literally just acted like a 5-year-old. And I am appalled.
Yes. Pennies. Yeah. It's like,
fine. I guess I'll have to do whatever. God.
It's kind of ridiculous. This is
if you want people to work for you, pay them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will say, I am very much like right here, right now. Like, me and Petey are in a very like specific situation where we are doing something that most people take payment for in making podcasts and making content and doing things like that. But there is no way I would ever, and there are people who have done this, and we've seen people do this, and sometimes they get away with it, and sometimes they don't, where people kind of treat their audience like they're doing something special, you know?
Yeah.
And the fact that they aren't giving them money or that somebody's not giving them money is like the worst thing in the world. Like, I've seen people who have come out, started streaming on Twitch, and been at it for 3 months, and they're like, I'm not partnered, or like nobody's donating to me, and I'm like, how long have you been streaming? For like a month. And you're like, honey, go over there and sit down.
You were relevant.
You know? Yeah, like there are people who have been doing it for years, and then
they don't they don't ask anything of anybody, like but yeah. Sometimes some people need to grow up. Apparently, this is not the first time that this has happened. Previously, somebody got paid 180,000 Korean won in pennies. So like 18,000.
What is with people in the goddamn pennies?
It's like
is it a deterrent? Is it a like, how dare you ask for your money? Here's pennies. Now deal with that. Like what is? I don't get it. Because basically, if you know what? If I'm gonna act like an adult through the whole situation, right? You give me a bunch of pennies, I'm gonna go right back to the bank and give it to them. You know who's now mad? The fucking bank.
Yes.
Because one, they had to give one person a bunch of pennies. And then now they have to take those pennies back.
And they gotta, you know what they gotta do?
Damn it.
You gotta pull out those little, like, those paper rollers. And they got the thing, they gotta pour them into the paper rollers. If they don't have, like, the automatic coin sorter, they've got to do it manually. It's just a pain in the butt. It's just, why you gotta be petty? Who do you think you are? SM Entertainment? Don't be so petty and childish. That being said, that's the end of our headlines and the end of another fantastic episode of Hallyujuku. Yeah. Cass, what do you got going on in your neck of the woods?
I have so many things to finish that I literally sit here all day and go, how am I going to finish these things? And then the day goes by and I'm like, oh, time to go to bed. But no, there's just a lot of projects. I've put a lot of projects in my lap, and then I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but super having fun. So we just finished writing the next episode for the Drunk Kids game show. So that's all done, but we're not going to do it next week or this week in the upcomings, because that's 4th of July weekend. Yes. So go out, barbecue, firework.
Yes. Blow things up. America.
Work fires. I don't know. But yeah, so there's that. Hopefully a new DKG whelp this weekend. We skipped the last weekend because I need to catch up on editing. Like I said, I'm just a bit overwhelmed in all the things that I'm trying to do on the internet. And then, I mean, like, that's literally it. It's just being overwhelmed on the internet.
Yes. Of course, you can follow him at about.me/KingKaz, or just straight up at KingKaz on Twitter. Of course, I didn't get a chance. I feel a little bit bad that I didn't get a chance to do any content at Florida SuperCon. I meant to do that, and then there was really no motivation. And I think next year,
sometimes I think it's one of those things. Sometimes we just have to have fun.
Yes. Sometimes when we touch, the honesty is too much. Which I did have a little bit of fun. But there's going to be more content. I'm going to try to hold myself accountable to create more content. I mean it. But that's all going to be on the YouTube page on rebelli.net. But you can follow him at King Kaz. I'm Petey Rave. Let me cue the end music. You can follow the show. The show is Hallyujuku. K-pop podcast. Kpoppodcast.com. Hallyujuku.net. Rebelli.net for this and other shows.
Well, didn't I tell you? Don't you know?
YouTube.com/RebelliTV, iTunes, Stitcher.
And write us and send us your thoughts on fucking anything.
Yes. Keep an eye out on the YouTube page for our first impressions on Show Me the Money 4. Should be tomorrow from the time you see this episode. So go and check it out on the YouTube page. Subscribe, share, like. Until next time.
Listen, fight.
Until
Run.
next time. Also,
Cookies. Map is an okay place to read articles sometimes. I don't know.
Fighting.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.